Donington, the BMWs could break the Rover stranglehold. It's very close to the off, so let's quickly join our commentators as the cars are on the warm-up lap. Brian Henson and Andrew Marriott.
Well, Dickie, they're just coming through the chicane and lining up on the grid. And Dickie, I have to tell you that this is war. This is Rover, the might of British Labour Austin Rover, against the might of Munich BMW. Already lined up on the front row of the grid. Third fastest in practice, in only his second race in this car. Frank Sittner, 39 years old, from Nottingham, a BMW dealer, and alongside him, the two blue Rovers, you see them there, Jeff Allen from Epsom, Peter Lovett from Wiltshire, and I have to tell you there is a lot of needle. Yesterday in practice, Frank Sittner protested the legality of these two Rovers, in fact three Rovers, another one, Steve Soper, hasn't lined up. The third fastest one, Steve Soper, and that's the big news here, is not on the grid, slowed down on the warming up lap. Steve Soper, winner of three races, they're going to be off, but the Rovers have been processed, the bodies have been sealed, because apparently the bodies may be too wide. That means they're wider than a standard production car, and these rules say that the cars have to be very close to standard production cars. Rover Vitesses against BMW 635s. In the box with me, Brian Henson, and they are off! And yes, it's Jeff Allen forged ahead. Tony Pond and the little MG Metro in fifth fastest in practice, weaving around trying to get it into a good position, but it's Rovers 1, 2 and 3, a Mazda on the grass, but it is Jeff Allen first. Steve Soper in second. Looks as if the Rover, yes, in third place, it was the BMW. So now down through the crane of curves, on the two blue Rovers, first and second place. Jeff Allen, very experienced saloon car racer, leads. Has won only one round of this championship so far. This is the main, most important British saloon car championship, run by the RAC. And there you see the two Rovers. Number 2, Jeff Allen. Number 3, Peter Lovett. And you see them sliding wide out. In fact, Tony Lamfranchi up into third place in the Opal, fourth to Franklin Sittner. Tony Lamfranchi, that Opal is still fairly early in its stages of development. Tony Pond going well, but with me in the commentary position, the 1980 European Formula 2 champion. Last year he raced the Tyrrell Grand Prix car, Brian Henson. What about this saloon car racing, Brian?
Well, at the moment it looks like the Rovers have actually got it made. They just won two and they look like they're almost cruising. Behind a bit of excitement, and I think that it's quite unusual that these saloon boys use each other's boots to stop rather than the brakes. And I can see one or two on the grass there, and we'll see how the race develops. And I'm hoping that we have one or two exciting laps here.
Yes, well, there is number 3. That's Peter Lovett, Wiltshire, originally a sports car specialist. Did a lot of club racing before he moved into national level. Was racing at Le Mans last weekend in a Mazda sports car, but now he's back at the wheel of the big 3.5-litre Rover Vitesse. These cars, of course, can be bought to special order from Austin Rover, but a lot more done to them to make them this competitive. And what a shame that Steve Soper, the youngest of the three Rover drivers, is not out there. He broke a prop shaft yesterday in practice. I thought the car was all back together again. Indeed, I saw it this morning, but he didn't make it onto the grid, so it's these two Rovers out in front. Allen and Lovett, inches apart. There they are, coming down to the end of lap 2, under the Dunlop Bridge. Now braking hard into the chicane. Well, it's a bit of a surprise that they got away from the BMW. There it is now, into third place, Frank Sittner. Frank Sittner in that 635, only its second race. In Europe, the BMW is very quick indeed, where it races mainly against the Jaguars. Really is a bit of a personal mission to try and beat these Rovers. There they are, the two 3.5-litre Vitesses. A lot of motor car to handle. And now you see Jeff Allen just kicking up the dirt. Sorry, Peter Lovett kicking up the dirt. There is Jeff Allen. You might just see there the crash helmet of Jeff Allen. The same colour scheme as Ricardo Crazy. when Jeff started racing in Vauxhall. For some reason he liked that colour scheme, and he's kept with it ever since. But it is basically a copy of Riccardo Patrese, the Brabham BMW driver's crash helmet. Patrese, incidentally, fastest in the testing at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix yesterday and the day before. Brian, well, what about this race so far?
I think it's very interesting that the second Rover of Peter Lovett, if the drivers amongst us watching fairly closely, he's actually throwing the car around more than Jeff Allen, and he's paying the penalty for doing that. In fact, Allen is in fact pulling away, and it's obvious that Smooth is quick here, and I think that Lovett's got to find that out yet.
Yes, well, it is noticeable also that closing up is that BMW. The BMW is starting to make some progress. There is the BMW. You see the gap has definitely reduced. Frank Sitter, who sells BMWs for a living, but has been a motor racing enthusiast for 20, 30 years. 30 years perhaps, Frank. He was a boyhood fan of motor racing. Has won in the BMW County Series about 4 years ago for County Nottinghamshire. Has won in Sport 2000. A very confident driver. He says he's an amateur. Also, you see he's on the left-hand side of the car. The others, of course, driving right-hand drive cars, and that might be a little bit difficult. Why does that make a difference?
In some ways, it's often in a racing car an advantage to have a left-hand drive car. And also, you must remember that, for instance, the BMW is a German-produced car, so the development will have gone round the driver being on the left-hand side. But I think it's great for Britain and British motorsport that the bloody Rovers are sorting out the BMW at this stage of the race.
Yes, well, Austin Rover, their competitions manager, John Davenport, has done an absolutely terrific